Good morning and welcome to the Ministry of Education at Evans Road. It's the 2021 Singapore School Sports Council's Volleyball National A Division Girls preliminary round match between Anglo-Chinese Junior College and Tampines Meridian Junior College. We're delighted to bring you coverage here on One Place Sports Facebook and One Place Sports TikTok page. Of course, for the first time ever, we're doing the National School Games on TikTok. Bit of a milestone being made there. Bit of a context on the competition format for this year's National School Games Volleyball for A Division. It's going to be done across 3 groups. For the girls, it's going to be 3 groups of 5. And today we're seeing the match between ACJC and TMJC. Top 2 qualify from each group, where they will play another round-robin format before the semi-final knockout stages. And for the match rules, obviously with COVID-19 restrictions, we are seeing a 3 versus 3 competition instead of the usual competition format. Each school will have 3 sub-teams, with every sub-team having a chance to contribute points onto the league table. If a match is won via 2 straight sets, it'll be 4 points for the winning team and a single point for the losing team. If it is won 2-1, then it is 3 points to the winning sub-team and 2 points for the losing sub-team. Slightly complicated, but it ensures that every athlete, or student athlete for that matter, has a chance to compete in this year's National School Games. The match is underway and both teams wearing red. The team with the gradient red is TMJC, and the team with the grey colour across the chest is ACJC. Lineups for sub-team 1 for ACJC is Joel E. Shu Hui, Janelle Boy Kaman, Jason Mui Ki, and Ko Yue Jie. As for TMJC, we have Ashley Sim at number 17, Chu Hui Ning at number 4, who's also the captain, Ong Si Ying Rian at number 10, and number 5, Tong Sin Ya Asta. The sub-teams from both teams competing at the moment. We're just about 3 minutes into the first match at the moment, with TMJC leading by 3 points to 1 for ACJC. Best of 3 sets for each of the sub-teams, of course. If they do win 2 sets, then there is no need for a third match, which is a bit unlike some of the other competitions that we're seeing in the B division, where all 5 sets need to be played, such as the badminton competition that we saw last week in the South Zone. First to reach 11 points, of course. And we're currently seeing TMJC leading by 4 points to 1. It's a strong serve there. This is a good rally going on between both schools. Ashley Sim there, attempting a spike. It's well saved and returned. And this rally is still going on. And Hui Ning there, earning a point for her school, a hard-earned point after rally, or rather, I do think that went out, so ACJC did get that point, I beg your pardon. Now it's Jazeng with the serve. Oh, it just trickled over the net there. But it counts nonetheless, a good point for ACJC, who have clawed it back to 3 points now. They're just trailing by a solitary point to TMJC's 4 at the moment in the first set between the two sub-teams. Oh, that's a great one there by Esther. TMJC up to 5 points. It's 5-3 in TMJC's favor. Ashley Sim with the serve. Oh, that's a clever little flick over the net there by Ashley, and well kept in play, but nothing doing there. Didn't manage to get that across the line. You do have to remember that the same rules for volleyball apply, and if the player's any part of the body touches the net, a point goes in the other team's favor. Ashley with another serve for TMJC. Strong serve. It's been consistent for TMJC. They are currently leading by 6 points to 3. That goes out though, I do believe. So ACJC earns another point. Match official for today, of course, first referee is Ng Kok Hua. You will see at the top of the pulpit. And TMJC celebrating another hard-earned point. They've brought it up to 7 now, just 4 points away from claiming the first set this morning. We are seeing a bit of a timeout between both teams, but they are coming back on court just about now. And if you're just joining us, this is the A Division girls volleyball match for this year's National School Games, the preliminary round, in what we are expecting to be an exciting season for school sports after a year out because of COVID-19. Modified to just formats for some of the sports, and just 12 sports this year. Of course, we are seeing most of the team sports missing out, but that has certainly not dampened the spirits of any of the student athletes we've seen compete in this year's competition. That just went a little too long, and it's out. So TMJC will claim another point as they edge closer to victory in this first set here at MOE Evans Road. 3 groups, of course, with a total of 15 schools competing for the girls in the A Division volleyball competition. And it's 14 schools for the boys. That, of course, will come on another day. You are watching coverage of the National School Games here on One Play Sports. And for the first time ever, we are bringing you the live stream on TikTok as well. First time in history on TikTok, I do believe. Ashley. Oh, clever little tip over the net. Unable to reach the ball there, Janelle from ACJC. And so we're at game point. It's 1 point away. Can they, no miracles there, and it's going to be TMJC who takes set number 1. If you're just joining us, TMJC currently leading by 1-0, winning the first set by a scoreline of 11-4. It's competition format for this year's A Division volleyball competition, of course, is that we're seeing each school having 3 sub-teams of 4 each, with 3 playing on court and 1 in reserve. And all 3 sub-teams will compete across the same match, which is also a best of 3. The point system is slightly more complicated than usual because it is done in order to allow more of the student athletes to compete. And that means that for every set that is won in straight sets 2-0, the winning sub-team gets 4 points. The losing sub-team gets a single point. But if it is won by a scoreline of 2-1, then the winning sub-team only gets 3 points and the losing sub-team gets 2 points. So every sub-team has a chance to contribute points onto the league table. And this is done across a round-robin format, of course, so it's 3 groups of 5 schools each, of which the top 2 schools from each group will progress to the next round of another round-robin of 3 schools in 2 groups before we see the knockout stages, with the two top teams from each of those groups progressing to the semi-finals of this year's A Division volleyball competition for both the girls and the boys. TMJC still leading as well here in the second set for the first group, or the first pair of sub-teams. They have shown consistency, and the dominance has told. I do think that confidence does play a part, and it's going to be Ashley Sim, number 17 of TMJC, with another serve. That goes a little too long. I beg your pardon, I think that point did go in favor of TMJC, so it's 5-0 at the moment. It's another timeout for the teams, with the coaches in the corners just getting some tips and advice on tactical play. Of course, the teams, all the schools have had to adapt to the different format of competition this year, it being a 3v3 competition instead of the usual 6-a-side. Does make it a little bit more challenging. It's all about being creative and innovating and pivoting in times like this during COVID-19, isn't it? Ah, that was, speaking of creativity there, Janelle Boy tipping the ball over the net. To earn her team a point. It's Joelle E with the serve for ACJC. Ashley with the return. And Jazz Eung there with some clever play for ACJC. It's 2 points now on the board for ACJC. Sub-team number 1 in the second set of the day. Joelle E with yet another serve. The captain there, Hui Ning, keeping the ball in play, and before she does that again here over the net. We have seen a couple of good rallies already this morning, although it's still pretty early into the match. At full stretch there, Joelle E. But ACJC is unable to get the ball over the net. So, the serve goes back to TMJC. For those who are, of course, there's no spectators allowed in the hall here at MOE Evans Road, but for those who can't see what's off the screen at the moment, there is proper protocols being put in place in terms of even the players who are waiting on the side. They are holding areas and they're kept safely aside with safe distancing protocols and masks being worn at all times, of course, for those who are not competing. All done in the spirit of keeping sport alive, but making it a safe environment for all the participants, officials, and staff alike. TMJC currently leads 7-3, and it's ACJC's serve. It's going to be Janelle Boy Kaman with the serve. Put a firm hand through that serve there. Now ACJC will need to pluck up some of their courage, and they've done so there. It's a good point there, won by Yue Jie. ACJC will, of course, need to, sub-team 1 will need to win this set in order to push this into a third set for the first round of matches. And if they can do so, it will make for an exciting start to the day. But as it stands, TMJC are just 3 points away from winning the first round of the day. Make it 2 points now. Ashley and Esther showing, couldn't help but show their delight at winning that point for their school. Oh, it's some great technique there. It's match point, TMJC. And that rounds up the action between the two first sub-teams of the day. Score stands at 2-0 in favor of TMJC, which means it's 4 points on the board for TMJC and 1 point for ACJC. That's how it goes in this year's competition format. Quick round of high fives as the teams make their way across the courts and prepare for the next round between sub-teams number 2. Welcome back to MOE Evans Road. If you're just joining us, this is the Singapore School Sports Council's Volleyball National A Division Girls Preliminary Round match between Anglo-Chinese Junior College and Tampines Meridian Junior College. And we are delighted to bring you the coverage here on One Play Sports. If you are tuning in on TikTok for the first time, we thank you and we welcome you. But if you are one of our regular followers on Facebook, it is also available on Facebook, of course. We welcome you as well. TMJC, of course, leading for today. You are seeing the second sub-teams warming up for the next round. The competition format for this year's competition is such that each school will have 3 sub-teams playing across any given fixture. And within each of these sub-teams, they will need to play a best of 3. First to win 2 sets wins the first of that particular round for their schools. Points, of course, will go onto the board, not just for the overall winner of the school of the day, but with every round that passes. So each sub-team has a chance to contribute points onto the league table for their schools. Top 2 schools, of course, from each group will qualify for the next stage of this year's competition, which will still be around robin format, because that means there'll be 6 schools progressing overall, which will be split into 2 more groups of 3, and then the top 2 qualifies for the semi-finals. We have already seen some very good quality of competition and technique this morning from both schools, and we do hope to see more good rallies in the remaining matches today. We're just minutes away from the restart of this match between ACJC and TMJC. It's been a tough year for Singapore sports on the whole, of course. The cancellation of most sports events across the whole of 2020, and such a delight to be able to see some of the sports coming back, not just in terms of live sports of the Singapore Premier League or the National School Games, but even for mass participation events, the likes of the Meta Sprint Series. We are seeing the aquathlon, the duathlon and triathlons coming back, and a slew of hybrid events, many of whom are receiving support from Sports Singapore as part of the Sports Resilience Package. It's a way of keeping the sports industry going. in uncertain times. And I'm sure, given Singapore's resilience, we will come out stronger. We will come out better. And we will come out more creative and be able to jump higher. Starting lineups, or rather not starting lineups, but the teams of sub-teams number 2 for both schools are as such. For ACJC, number 19 is Chua Ki Sha. Number 18 is Isabel Pan Yi. Captain for sub-team number 2 is number 12, Andrea Ui Jia Min. And number 8 is Jess Tan. For TMJC, sub-team number 2, number 18 is Cajetas Eliza Ingrid Galano. Number 16 is Chua Yue Ning. Captain number 12, Isabel Wong Xian In. And number 11 is Clara Ko Sin Xuan. Only 3 players on court at any given moment, of course, with 1 in reserve. So with 3 sub-teams, that adds up to 12 players for each school in this year's 3v3 volleyball competition. I think we are getting ready for the restart very soon between the 2 schools. If you're just joining us, this is the A Division Girls Volleyball Competition preliminary round between ACJC and TMJC. There is more extensive national school games coverage, of course, made available by Sport Singapore that has been ongoing for the last couple of months, I do believe, and the bulk of competition has already been over in the senior divisions. That's the B and A division competitions as a whole. But the C division competition, I do believe, is only starting in July. And some of the students are in the midst of preparing for their exams during this period as well. Talking about the life of a student athlete, isn't easy to juggle both school and sport, isn't it? But such is the power of sport that, and the draw of sport. I do recall many of my friends back when we were in school enjoying the competition and also being a lot more active and being a really well-rounded athletes as well. So we are seeing both teams going into their corners, getting ready for a round 2 of the day. Now the match about to get underway, round 2. Will ACJC be able to pull one back and take today's match into a 3rd set? Now remember, it's best of 3, so the first school that reaches 2 sets or 2 wins takes the game for the day. That was Andrea Ui with the serve. We are seeing some fight and fire in sub-team 2 of ACJC, and there they are, celebrating what was a hard-earned point. They are going to need to pull something out of the bag here in order to take this into a third round between the two schools and to have the third sub-teams competing. Clara Ko there just keeping a play alive for just a few seconds longer, but in the end it still goes the way of ACJC. It's 2-0. Andrea Uy with the serve for ACJC. I do believe that was Keisha Chua who sent the ball over the net for a third point for ACJC. Now, TMJC now can't afford to be complacent. They, of course, came out comfortable winners in the first round of today's matches between the two first sub-teams. But you do get the sensing and the feeling that a lot more fight and hunger in the second sub-team from ACJC. With Keisha there just keeping play alive, but just about. And that clever little touch over the net by Yue Ning of TMJC, but unable to earn a point. Now this might go a little too long, but the rally is still going on. It's a very good rally this. Send the ball over. Isabel Wong sent that a little too long. Still not TMJC's sub-teams Tuesday. The ACJC now currently leading 4-0 in the second round of matches here at MOE Evans Road. If you are just joining us, this is round 2. The first round was taken by TMJC by a score of 2-0. In the competition format of this year's competition, we'll see each school having 3 sub-teams with the best of 3 in each round, and all teams having the ability to contribute points on the board. Teams are back on the court, and we are about to see another intense rally, I do believe. No, not really. That just went straight in. Some very impressive serves by Andrea Uy so far in this round. It's 5-0 at the moment to ACJC. If she can keep up this consistency, it's certainly earning a lot of important points for her school at the moment. Clara Ko sets up her teammate, but Isabel Wong was unable to keep that in play. So ACJC takes point number 6 as well. Andrea Uy sends it to corner. That's clever little touch by Yue Ning over the net. And earns TMJC their first point, or TMJC sub-team number 2 their first point of the day. Players just trying to get the attention of the match official over here. And I do believe Andrea Uy is requested to go off court in order to mop the floor. Possibly, I think, perspiration, whatever it is that's making the court slippery, making the field of play a bit difficult for the players. And the match official allowing that to happen and play will resume now. Straight into the net there. No luck for Cajetas Eliza Ingrid Galano. And the score currently stands at 7-1 in favor of ACJC in this round. Isabel Wong there going up the net, toe to toe. They must be careful there not to touch the net, because if any part of their body touches the net, the point goes in favor of the other team. And as it stands, ACJC have a comfortable 7-point lead and are just 3 points away from taking the first set in this round between sub-teams number 2. Oh, brilliant technique there. Now, can they keep play alive? TMJC just about doing so, but this is going to be another spike from Andrea Oy, who has been very impressive in this round. Set up by her teammate, Isabel. Or rather, Jess Tan, I beg your pardon. And they're just 2 points away, ACJC, from taking this set. Is Keisha with a serve just over the net. TMJC now. Can they get another point on the board before this set is over? Keisha with another ball over the net, and set up there by Clara Ko. But TMJC unable to capitalize on that opportunity. It's 2 points on the board for TMJC, and they do have the serve now with Chua Yue Ning over the ball. Getting some good height into that spike there by Andrea. Earning her school another point, and they are currently at match point, 10-2. Keisha sending the ball over the net, and the players celebrate because ACJC sub-team 2 have taken set 1. They'll need to keep up with this form, of course, if they do want to take this match into the third round of today. TMJC already winning at the first round this morning. Some very ingenious ways of having competition being played in this year's National School Games. We have seen quite a few modified sports, something that many people thought wouldn't have been possible. But such is the passion and desire to allow sport to continue that we are seeing different rules, different minds being put together to think of new ways of delivering sport. Both teams in their corners at the moment, and we will see play resume very, very shortly, because the match official just keeping time. Some cheers and claps happening just off court to the left of our camera. TMJC's sub-teams 1 and 2, of course, 1 and 3. The two teams have, of course, swapped sides if you are just joining us, because both teams' jersey colors are similar. TMJC is the one to the left of the court if you're watching this live broadcast. They are in the jersey that is a bit of a gradient. ACJC is the one in a slightly lighter shade of red, pinkish, with gray around the chest area. Now, this is a good serve there by Isabel Wong. But ACJC managed to get that over the net, and they're currently leading as well now in the second set, 2-1. Such is the hunger and desire to keep the match alive. We've seen them throw everything at the other team. Clever touch over the net there. Just unable to get the ball over the net there. Clara Ko. It's Chua Ki Sha with the serve. Put some strong palm behind that serve, and the ball is... couldn't really see there, but the point, I do believe, goes to ACJC, I beg your pardon. Currently leading at 4 points to 1. Good strong spike there, but a good dig to keep play alive by ACJC, and the ball goes over the net from Yuening. Clara Ko setting a teammate up. Yuening sent the ball over again for TMJC, but it's ACJC who have come out on top in that round as well, because they've earned another point to take it to 5 points to 1. And they now have Chua Ki Sha over the ball with another serve. Oh, what a fantastic block that was. Absolutely incredible. You have to say that spike from Isabel Wong was already top drawer, but it was met by a brick wall. So Ki Sha there just not being able to get her serve over the net. TMJC sub-team number 2 now needing to find something out of their pockets. Hopefully to earn a couple of points back, but the tide is firmly in ACJC's favor at the moment. The ball goes long. Too long. Ki Sha there just diving to keep the ball alive, and it has paid dividends because ACJC have got another point. They're just 2 points away from securing a round 2. It's going to be Jess Tan with the serve. Kept alive by Isabel Wong. And then Clara Ko. But it's a match point for ACJC. We are going to see this match go into a third round between the third sub-teams, which will make for a very exciting finish in this morning's preliminary round competition in the girls A division volleyball competition. And we have seen the conclusion of this round. ACJC takes it 11-2, 11-2. 2 straight sets. It's a show of sportsmanship there. Both teams lining up, showing a bow, and we will shortly see the third sub teams come to the fore. If you are just joining us for this live stream this morning, it is the A Division Girls Volleyball competition between ACJC and TMJC. Bit of a background on how the rules and regulations have changed with the revised format, because we have seen quite a few modified sports this year for the National School Games. Competition format is 3 groups of A, B, and C, 15 teams. 15 schools in total for the girls and 14 for the boys, with the top 2 schools qualifying from each group, where they will play in another round robin format before the semi-final knockout stages. Match rules for this competition: if you've just tuning in, each school has 3 sub-teams of 4 players each because of the 3v3 ruling, with 3 on court and 1 in reserve. And every sub-team will need to play a best of 3. We have already seen 2 rounds this morning, with both schools claiming 1 round each. So that's why we are seeing sub-teams number 3 coming onto the court. This will be the tiebreaker. And if any match that's won in 2 straight sets, it's 4 points to the winning team and 1 for the losing team. If it's 2-1, then it's 3 points to the winning sub-team and 2 points for the losing sub-team. As it stands, total of 5 points each for both schools, because they've won at 2-0, 2-0 each. So it's 5 points on the board for each school this morning. first to reach 11 points in each set, of course. If a third set needs to be played, then at 6 points they will change sides. But at the moment, this morning, we've not seen that happen because both schools have won each of their rounds in straight sets. Do hope that wherever you're watching this from, whether it's from home or from work, if you're doing it from work, I do hope you're not publicly skiving in front of your bosses, but we do hope you're enjoying this coverage brought to you by One Play Sports. So happy to see a live sport coming back to Singapore, of course, whether it's in modified formats or not. Mass participation events also slowly coming back. A recent article from Bloomberg, of course, ranking Singapore as the place to be on earth, ousting New Zealand, who previously took that top spot in places in the world to be in, the best places to be in the world during COVID-19. Certainly testament to the efforts of Singapore government for helping us achieve that status. And we are seeing both teams doing the final rounds of their warm-ups at the moment. You can of course expect more coverage of the remaining matches of the National School Games coming your way on a One Play Sports as well. We are extending the coverage of what Sports Singapore is offering on their platforms. And whatever you do see on a One Play Sports will also be available, or repackaged rather, on Singtel TV. So you do want to catch our weekly shows on Monday evenings. That's SG Sports Weekly, where we do talk about the sports news and events of the week, as well as Spotlight on Team Singapore, a special weekly segment we're doing with our national athletes this year with the SEA Games, the Olympic Games, Paralympic Games, and the ASEAN Para Games all coming back. Fingers crossed, of course. Currently all still happening, but closely monitoring how the situation is around the world as well. So that is a special segment that is done in partnership with Team Singapore. Also part of SG Sports Weekly. And of course, the last segment of the 60-minute show on Mondays from 7 to 8 on Singtel TV Mio Sport Channel 113 is a new segment that's called Faces of Singapore Sports. You do want to check that out as well, because we are featuring fitness trainers, yoga instructors, alternative sports athletes, citizen athletes, those who are not in high performance, all those who are passionate about sports, running communities as well. Certainly something for everyone. And you can catch all of that in linear format on Singtel TV. If you are less of a fan of TV content, if you want to catch it, social media content, you can also do so on One Play Sports socials. We have some interesting content coming your way on YouTube as well. Special Women in Sports Conquer series that's led by the One Play Sports social media team. And there are also other sports available on our usual social media pages. Live streams of live sports available on both Facebook and YouTube. Most exciting one currently ongoing, that's of course is the Singapore Premier League. Of course, we are seeing the best of seasons from Singapore football. Some really exciting matches, wonder goals being scored. Most recently over the past weekend, I do believe we've seen 2 wonder goals from Lion City Sailors. Some other breaking news, of course, with Lion City Sailors head coach leaving, Aurelio Vidma, adding to some buzz to the local football scene. They have also, of course, unveiled the $10 million training facility that is slated to be ready by April 2022. That will also double up as a community sports hub. Great way of investing back into Singapore sports and Singapore football. And well on course for goal at 2034. But coming back to the National School Games here at MOE Evans Road, you are seeing the A Division girls volleyball competition between ACJC and TMJC. That is Anglo-Chinese Junior College and Tampines Meridian Junior College. Both teams have won one round each in straight sets, 2-0, 2-0. And so that means we are seeing the third sub-teams of both schools coming onto the courts, and they are doing their warm-ups now, ahead of what is going to be a tiebreaker this morning. Some key volleyball milestones being made by Singapore in recent years regionally, in both the indoor competition as well as the beach volleyball competition. We have seen both teams impress. The last time we went into the ASEAN arena, that was the 2019 SEA Games, with the youngest ever men's indoor volleyball team competing, averaging just 20 years of age. And I tell you what, it's quite a big jump in terms of levels of competition when we talk about our athletes going regionally to compete against the rest of the indoor volleyball teams who are mostly professional. Singapore athletes being amateur, of course, they do need to juggle school and work. But even then, they did put up a very good fight in Manila in 2019. The beach volleyball teams, of course, both making history by entering the competition for the first time in, I do believe it was something like 40 years, with the men's team reaching the semi-finals. Pair of Kingsley Tay and Mark Shen unable to land the bronze medal, but even then a top 4 finish was something that was already above all of our expectations. Now over here in MOE Evans Road, third round of matches have begun. ACJC taking the lead. Team lineups for the two sub teams for this round. For ACJC, it's Brian Ong, number 14. Number 3, Captain Sherry Ng. Nicole Koo, number 13. And Tan Mei Bi is the libero position, number 1. You do have a very, very interesting lineup there, with the first time we're seeing a libero position being played in this this morning's round of matches. Basically a jack of all trades and being able to come in and take on all playing positions on the courts. For TMJC, it's Ang Man Ting Lien, number 1. Ching Wen Xuan, number 7. Melody Ku Jiayi, number 14. And Shi Liying Ivy, number 9 for sub-team number 3. ACJC currently leading 4-1 in this first set of the third round. And TMJC just unable to keep play alive there. So it's 5 points for ACJC. Tan Mei Ri now with the serve. Oh, just keeping the play alive there, Melody Koo. And it's come good because they have earned themselves a second point. Oh, what a spike that was by Lian Ang. I beg your pardon, by Tan Mei Ri. Both teams in their corners, timeout. So crucial to get this third round off to a good note, and ACJC currently in pole position to take this first set. They have come out in the same vein of form as they did in round 2 with the 2 second sub teams. And whatever it's being said for TMJC, they'll need to find something out of their pockets to turn the tide at the moment. So Lianang just sending ball over the net, and Tan maybe earning another hard-earned point. You can tell why she's the libero for her team. Bit of a mess there. And TMJC just unable to get the ball over the net, and ACJC have raced into a 6-point lead as it stands. Nicole Koo with another serve, a good strong hand there. And Sherry Ng setting her teammate up for another point for ACJC. They're 2 points away from wrapping up first game here, and suddenly all gone quiet on court. Nicole Koo with the serve. Ang Man Ting just barely able to keep that point alive, but it was the only to delay the inevitable, because it's match point for ACJC, and Nicole Koo has the chance to win the first set for her sub-team here. And she has done, because TMJC are unable to get the ball over the net. We are going to see a switch over in sides, and the TMJC goals just hand in hand, with a show of unity and strength. They'll certainly hope they can translate that onto the court in this next game, because they do need to win this to keep it alive. If you're just joining us, you can catch the live stream of our National School Games coverage by One Play Sports on not just Facebook or YouTube, but also TikTok. First to live stream the National School Games on TikTok, with this being the first match ever. So making a bit of a milestone here for both as a broadcast company and also for TikTok. ACJC will get us underway in this next set, and it's Sherry Ng over the ball, team captain. Melody Koo keeping the ball alive. Tan Mei Vi, just unable to get, she got some good height on the jump, but just unable to get a spike over the net, and first point goes to TMJC in this second set. Melody Koo with a bit of a lob in his serve, and it's a clever one there. I tell you what, Sherry Ng has been pivotal in her role in earning that point, because she has made some unpredictable choices, both in terms of setting up a teammate and also getting the point across, and making full use of the width of the court there. Tan Mei Vi with her serve. And ACJC have overturned that early deficit to lead 2-1. Good strong hand there by Lianang. And Wen Xuan setting up a teammate for that spike, but they didn't go across the net, and it's ACJC who take another point to make it 3-1. Maybe with the serve, so strong in the serve. It's unable to keep the ball alive there, TMJC. She has been the key player for ACJC so far in this set. Maybe. Maybe, just maybe. We might get this point, and did that go in? Yes, it did. It's 5 points to ACJC. Just a little look of disappointment across the faces of the TMJC players. They started the day brightly and with the first sub team, but they've not been able to carry that form across the rest of their matches here. But they shouldn't let their heads drop, because they are doing a decent job so far, giving their all. And a timeout being called there, most likely for tactical reasons. TMJC there trying to regroup and get some ideas and some inspiration back into this game. It's going to take a bit of a miracle though at the moment. 5 points trailing, and it doesn't look like ACJC is letting up just yet. They are going all in to win this, because if they're just 5 points away, and if they do win this match, they do win this fixture for today. Maybe with the serve. Ball over the top by Ivy. Cherry Young setting up. Maybe. And then Melody Koo. Oh, that was unexpected. We were all expecting a spike, but she just sent the ball over the top with a clever tip of her hands. And I do believe Ivy was the one who kept it alive for TMJC, but sooner or later, one of these teams will have to give. It's a very good rally that's going on at the moment. No one's taking any risk until finally Nicole Koo decided to go for it. I think it went a bit too long, because it's 2 points on the board at the moment for TMJC. Currently serve through Wen Xuan. And the point was given away, and ACJC are back on top now with Nicole Koo over the ball. Good firm hand over that serve. Wen Xuan setting up Ivy, and now maybe showing just why she is the libero for ACJC. It's been pretty good at every aspect of the game. You do wonder how the schools have organized their players, because we have seen strong players across all three teams. But for ACJC, it seems as though they have put some of the strongest players into the third sub-team, but that's assuming that the match would even reach this stage. So it does beg the question. But of course, it's proven to be effective at the moment. I'm not questioning or doubting the coach's choices. It's just very interesting in how they've regrouped their resources into this year's new competition format. It's going to be Cherry Ng, the captain, with the serve. Kept alive by Melody Koo. And then Brian Ong getting a taste of the action, but maybe just unable to get that spike over the net. Commentator's curse, perhaps, I've been praising her a bit too much today. TMJC clocking more points in this set than they did before, but they're just 2 points away from losing this third round. Melody Koo at full stretch, but unable to keep it alive. And it's match point for ACJC. Some really clever play. Brianong going to the net. Possibly not really to block the opponent's vision, but possibly to block her to set up her teammates. But she's gone to the rear now, and it's good setup there by Cherry Ng for Mei V. It's returned and kept alive by TMJC, but how long can they keep this going for? No luck there. No luck. It's tough luck on TMJC, and for this round of matches between the third sub teams, it is ACJC who takes it as well. It's in straight sets, 2-0, with score lines of 11-2, 11-4. So what an exciting bout of volleyball we've seen from the A Division girls this morning. And just going to do a quick tabulation of the points from this morning, because we do have a new scoring system for every school in the national school games this year, where even the losing teams have chances to earn points on the board. And after 3 rounds across the 3 sub teams of 6 matches and 3 sets each, it's ACJC with 9 points and TMJC with 6 points from today. We thank you for joining us in today's live coverage. Do stay tuned for the rest of our coverage. We will be bringing you another match later on today on our Facebook platform. And do stay tuned for more of our National School Games live streams on TikTok as well. We will be showcasing selected live streams from the National School Games for the remaining part of the month of May for the senior division, and also the upcoming months for the junior divisions and C division from July onwards. Thank you for joining us. This has been John Yong. I've been your commentator for today. And on behalf of the broadcast team here from One Play Sports, thank you very much and have a great day.